Good evening and welcome to War Thunder's website. I am Old Dead Man. We have some economy changes coming in the first part of May, so let's take a look at what we have going on here. According to Gaijin, they have rebalanced they're going to rebalance the economy for the blue water fleet so that there's a new approach for reward multipliers, for actions in battle, and for the battle time. These changes are allowing them to significantly increase awards after battle, making it much closer to the awards in ground and aerial battles. But before you make a judgment call on to whether this is all good news, let's talk about what's going on here. First up, the maximum available award in Silver Lion's multiplier has been changed. For ground vehicles, now they're only listing the ones that are changing, so if you don't see it listed here, it's not going to be changing from what it is, whatever it is right now. I'm going to touch on the realistic battles ones as they're changed. I'll leave the link in the description for arcade and simulator battles if you'd like them to jump on those. In realistic battles, researchable as in your regular tech tree vehicles, the ground vehicles are going from 150% multiplier to 200% available maximum. And premium vehicles in ground, I'll go from 280 to 300%. On the aircraft side, in realistic battles for premium vehicles, they're going from 280 to 300%. No change for regular tech tree vehicles. Helicopters are in realistic battles. They're dropping its Silver Lions for tech tree vehicles from 380 to 300%. In the coastal fleets, except frigates, the realistic battles is going from 170% to 230%. Big increase there. That's going to help. Frigates, let's see, the realistic battles, researchable, regular tech tree vehicles, from 170% to 600%. Huge jump for frigate-size vessels. And for the premiums, it's 320 to 800%. Another huge jump. And for the blue water fleet, the realistic battles, tech tree, Silver Lion multipliers, potential goes from 320 to 600%. And for the premiums, 500 to 800%. Big changes there. Pretty much, if you are... this is just the maximum they're going to allow for, is what it comes down to. I don't think it's going to... that means all the vehicles are going to change, but you'll see what I mean in a bit. All right, so other changes, they're going to be part of this economy change. The M3A3 Stuart in China is moving to rank 2 with recon and repair of allies modifications being added. The Jagdpanzer 4.5 is moving to rank 4 before the Jagdpanther, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but it is what it is. The BMP-2M squadron vehicle is moving to rank 6. I believe it's right now in 7, and they're reducing the research cost for it. And the maximum GE cost is also being reduced. The VFM-5 is moving to the position before the Vickers Mark 7. The Warrior is being moved before the Striker. Now here's the surprise one here. The following vehicles changed class to light tank. M18s, all of them. SK-105A2, Jagdpanzer KA2, the Class 3P, the Centauro Romor, and the Centauro MGS, the Type 16 in Japan, the USH 405, the Ruacat 105, the Ruacat MTTD, the M1128, the M18 Black Cat, so that's amongst the list there, the Super Hellcat, the M8A1, and the T114. Now I noted that one of the ones that didn't show up in this list is like the M10. The following vehicles change class to medium tank, I presume from tank destroyer. The IKV-73, the Avenger, and the Charioteer Mark 7. The SU-9 is adding a connection to the LA-9 in the research tree. Now let's talk about this part for a moment or two here. After reading through the thread on the forum, one of the moderators said that the reason they were doing this was because it matches more the playstyle of these vehicles. Plus, when people think tank destroyer, they think about the casemate tank destroyer. So they're making it so the casemate tank destroyers represent tank destroyers as a class. It has nothing to do with their the classification of the vehicle in the doctrine of the country, which is why the M18 was considered a tank destroyer. Now, benefits to the to M18s and or other vehicles on this list, they're going to get access most likely to artillery and spotting capabilities, which is a big boon for them. It'll be a big positive. On the other hand, if you're used to using those for some of the battle pass tasks or the warbond tasks that call for you to use a tank destroyer to kill things, it's now really done you in on those. You're going to have to figure out what your preferences are. In fact, I already know what I'm going to be doing, and that's going to be the M50 Ontos and the M56 if I need to kill things with a tank destroyer. But that really kind of puts a crimp in my favorite area for those tasks. That said, this means that those are light tanks now, and so if you have a light tank task, these go into that bucket for you. Positive, negative, you decide. The ones that went to medium tank, no surprise, they're really not. I mean, the Charioteer is fairly speedy, but it's not a reverse gear that makes you think it's a mouse, if you know what I mean. So that's the changes right there that are biggest concern for you. Now, there will be a link in the description again to all the new economy changes, the changes in bonuses and rewards and repair costs. But I'm going to hit on the big changes. Now I went ahead and ran all the numbers into a database, and I had it run some calculations out for me. So if you are in the US, your repair costs have just dropped massively. Well, massively, percentage-wise probably not, because USA has a huge tree. But you're getting an overall repair drop. On the same thing, you get a huge multiplier, reward multiplier positive. So you're actually coming out better on both ends there across the entire tree. Now, that doesn't mean every piece of the tree is better. We'll talk about that as we come to that point. Conversely, if you're in Great Britain, you're now paying through the nose for pretty much everything else. You do get a fairly decent reward positive bump on that. France, conversely, is getting worse multipliers, but they're getting a repair cost drop. So the US came out better in both ends on this one. France came out with a mixed bag. And really, I think everybody else pretty much ended up mixed bag on this one. You can see by the colors here who came out better and who came out worse. Just, take a look at that. So the ones who got the most benefit out of the repair changes, USA, France, Sweden, and Russia. Italy's pretty good. Germany and China even came out pretty good. But Japan and Great Britain both took it in the shorts. And on the reward multiplier differences, USA, Great Britain, and Russia all came out big winners. Japan, Germany, Italy all came out mid-range. And China, Sweden, and especially France got it in the shorts. They're getting less rewards this round. Now, this chart is country and class. So ships, tanks, helicopters. I did not split the naval into blue water and freshwater. So there is that aspect to keep in mind. Some of those are kind of getting blended at this point. Maybe for the next time we do one of these, I'll start splitting them into the blue water versus freshwater. All right, again, if you're flying a plane in this one, your repairs have dropped. So planes overall are getting lower repairs. Thank goodness. Some of the planes are absurd. If you're driving a ship, on the other hand, your repair costs have gone up. And my understanding is that's pretty much all on the top end, the big ships, the battleships, and those types of areas. Helicopters got small drop. Most tanks got a drop. But overall, the ships got higher repair costs. Your reward multipliers, by type though, ships got huge multiplier bumps across the entire range there. You can see here on the right side, the ships are entirely dominating the top end of the chart. So even though your repair costs have gone up, your reward potential has gone up hugely in ships, according to these numbers. Conversely, if you're flying a plane, your rewards have gone down, and a lot. So my overall take is that what they've done is they've robbed Peter to pay Paul on all of these changes. It's supposed to come out a wash in the end, from what I'm seeing. That said, that might make Naval a good place to make some money after these changes are implemented, but we'll see. All right, these are the biggest winners and the biggest losers in repair costs. The biggest winners are the Japanese Yugure, the USS Moffett, the Garland, the SU-11, the Kerch, the Attacker FB-2, which has dropped an amazing 10,950 silver lions in base repair cost. Thank goodness. The Fokker D-21 is dropping considerably. The Type 1939 T-22, and that's a ship there. The G-Class H-89 and the Zelensnikov. Close enough. Sorry to the pronunciation for our Russian speakers. All of those really came out the big winners. And by the way, for clarification purposes, this chart, I actually ran it with the numbers, and compared to all the previous ones, normally I just go over a certain percentage above and a percentage below. This chart of it was such a broad range. I mean, that it was huge lists here, even knocking the middle out of them. So a lot of vehicles are affected. Keep that in mind. And on the biggest loser side, Germany's von der Tann, the Invincible, the Mars 15, the Hugo, the Whitby, the T-55E1, which admittedly with that repair cost that low, that doesn't surprise me. They had a big change because it's really at a BR where its repair cost should have been higher. The F5A, the Tiger, and the Baltimore. All of these got big repair cost bumps and percentage-wise. So that's what we're looking at here. A lot of things that are making big swings on this economy change. Huge changes. The reward multipliers, biggest winners and losers. If you're driving a ship, you're in a much better shape now. The Generanelli, 5.5 better. The Binion, 5.3 better. I mean, all of these are just really bumping up their rewards here. The Nostroshimi, the Kyoshimo, the Stroyny, the Haida, the Krasny-Kavkaz, the Leningrad, the Leander, and the Nuremberg all got good big bumps in their reward multipliers. Conversely, and there were a lot of them that fell into this range where the like this Spitfire F Mark right here that is listing a multiplier drop. There were a lot in this same range, and I just picked off the bottom 10 for the worst ones. Spitfire F Mark 18 Echo, the Hornet Mark III, the Spitfire Mark V Charlie, the BI, the B-17G 60 VE. Heaven help you to make money in that now. The P-51H5NA, the Gazelles, both of them, the Yugure, and the Hai. So you can see a lot of things are getting just literally moved from both ends. The Yugure showed up on the other list of repair drops as one of the big winners. So you might be winning on the repairs, but your rewards are going to drop to match. And that's the concern I have about this whole patch update, this whole potential update coming. They are still accepting feedback, and they have made changes based on feedback that people have done. This is such a huge change, though. You need to go through the numbers and make sure you're speaking with intelligence when you make your suggestions. They need to be well supported and well documented, and show them the numbers. So I'll leave a link to the thread in the description below. Big changes coming, but is it a win? Maybe if you're driving a ship, but if you're flying a plane, chirp chirp, it's not such a win anymore. That said, if they can just reduce some of those repair costs a little bit more, I'd be a much happier camper. You'd be amazed at what I'll fly if I can just not lose money. All right, that's everything for today. Again, links in the description. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll see if I can look it up, maybe run some numbers for you. You have a great rest of the day, and we'll see you in War Thunder. The Bin